Next we will talk about making your opponent overconcentrated. Attachments are very often used in modern games for this very purpose. Since the opponent's shape is strong, you can make it even stronger. It's okay, let it get thick, and in return we get very useful stones on the outside. Let's see an example. Japanese professionals Ono Nobuyuki and Rissei. Rissei played black here. We see that black is dead here. It's unlikely that black will be able to somehow make two eyes there. That is, white has quite a strong shape, and black sees that he cannot escape. Then we can sell the stone very profitably to get something in return. Note this black shape in the lower left corner. This white stone is not dead yet, and black doesn't really know how to finish it off. That is, for example, if black plays a knight's move right away, white can try to break out by attaching from above. If black somehow covers it from above, white can play here and live inside. So black would like to strengthen a little here, so as to get a chance to capture the white stone. So what was played in the game? Black made an exchange, played an attachment and strengthened white. And then, what would you play next? In this shape, Rissei played an attachment on this side. What's the idea behind this? Since there is no Aji left, let white's shape get even stronger. White responded from above, black extended. A very large endgame move is left here. White can't allow black to play it just like that. So white has to complete the shape here. And we see that white's territory is exactly the same as it was before. That is, white didn't get any extra points here, while black got two useful stones for free that helped black kill the white stone in the corner. And now, if white tries to get out, this will be a lot more difficult to accomplish. So here's an example of a very clever attachment to create overconcentration. Let's see the next example, in which we use attachments for overconcentration. In this game, the legendary Korean master Hunhyun played black. He hasn't been playing in many tournaments lately. He went into politics. His opponent is Choi Myunghun, another Korean 9-dan. White has just played a two-space extension, developing on the upper side. Black to move. There are many players out there, especially those who haven't seen this lesson, who might think of a two-space extension here. Quite a normal move. Why is it important? If we don't play an extension, and allow white to play it, then black has some defects in the corner. For example, such an attachment becomes possible, and if black connects, black may lose all of the corner territory. And this, of course, is very unpleasant. If black answers with this move, then this shape simply gets cut. There's a cut here. Surely black can somehow connect down there on the first line, but this is very unpleasant for black. This is not an option. Therefore, we really want to make an extension. We want to find time for that. And if black makes a two-space jump, everything will be fine except for one thing. This is gote. And if black extends, white would be able to play some other important move. For example, there's a big endgame move here. So what was played in the game? Take a look at the white shape in the upper left corner. This white shape is solid. If it was, for example, like this, or like that, there would be some kind of weakness and we wouldn't want to attach to this shape, because we would strengthen white here, losing the opportunity to invade later. But if the white shape is already strong, then why not attach to it? We're making white overconcentrated. In the game, Hunhyun played such an attachment. White played from above, black extended. White's shape is incomplete, white must either connect or descend like they did in the game, and as a result, black has sente. And then black naturally went back and played endgame. The attachment in the corner is gone. White's extension is gone, so black managed to play everywhere. And this was his trademark. When Hunhyun played in tournaments, and he holds the record among the Korean masters for the number of titles won, his trademark style was speed. This master wanted to play first everywhere. He tried to find a way to play all the important moves. Next we will see another game, this time by Japanese professionals. Miyamoto Yoshihisa 9-dan from Kansai played white, and the legendary Fujisiwa Hideyuki, who won the Japanese Kisei title 6 times in a row, played black. Fujisawa wrote several books in which he reviews the games of his fellow professionals. Games or Japanese pros, he finds some mistakes there. He says, oh, this is all wrong, they should have played like that. I run them through the AI with great interest, and I often see that the moves he suggested turned out to be much worse than what was played in the games. But in this example, I'll probably agree that everything was played correctly. Fujisawa, as black here, In response to this white's extension, what would you do? White extended, black to play. Black has a slightly unstable group in the corner. Black wants to stabilize it somehow. He wants to defend against this unpleasant invasion. If black doesn't have time to do this and white invades, then what will happen? Black will lose all the territory in the corner, and the entire black group will become an object for attack. It's painful for black. It's not interesting. So, what options can we consider? If black wants to play securely, he can just defend, for example, like this. This is a very safe, super strong move, but what's the downside? This is gote. Nice shape, but gote. No invasion, but gote. You can play kosumi, you can play keima, but it's pretty much the same thing. Super reliable defense, but in gote. And what did Fujisawa do in the game? Black played here. This is a rare move that is not usually used. Why? It really strengthens the opponent. But why can we play this way now? If we see that the opponent is already very strong, that white is strong here, that black is unlikely to attack the white group later, that black is unlikely to want to invade here, we can make an exchange. Even if we have strength in white, but now black has sente, and the black shape in the corner feels a little stronger. That is, it's already difficult for white to invade here. Why? Because white doesn't have a connection on the second line anymore. So we play this kind of moves in special situations. As a common example, this is a standard joseki with a sun-sun invasion from the star point. This is one of the most common variations, also commonly played these days. Black either connects or plays here, and if black attacks, if you really want to get sente and defend against this dangerous invasion, then in this shape, you can play an attachment. Let black get stronger, and white gets sente. The shape is stronger, there's no more invasion, but when is it recommended to play this way? If sente is really important right now, and it would be nice if black became overconcentrated in the process. That is, for example, if black already had a stone on the upper side here, then this is a very good way of playing for white. And if all this happened on an empty board, then here white could reconsider and play something else and not attach. Why? Because after all, the black stone is weak, and if we attach to it, we strengthen it, and the black group turns into a wall. Therefore, we usually play from this side on an empty board and try to come out to the center, so as not to strengthen black. Next, we'll see an example from a game played by women. Chinese and Korean professionals. It's black's turn here. Black is thinking where to play on the right. What options do we have there? Black can play a careful 2-space jump, a 3-space jump, or attach. Let's try to figure out what to choose and what's the difference here. If we play a 2-space extension, this is of course a super strong shape, but still there are weaknesses in it. For example, white can play here. If black answers, white can play an attachment, or maybe this move. There are some invasions still left inside. If we play a 3-space jump, like this, the shape is even thinner. So it's even easier for white to play an invasion. And if black tries to kill white like this, white can attach to sun-sun and live easily, stealing all of black's territory in the corner. For example, if we continue this variation, this is a very comfortable life for white. So what was played in the game? In the game, black, instead of extending, played this attachment. What is the idea? Look at the white group on the right. The group is absolutely solid, and we see that even if we played a little closer to this group, there was no room left for an invasion. That is, if the shape was like this, for example, then perhaps this move would make sense for black. Because in the future, black could somehow attack this group, make trouble, and knock out its base. But since the white group is already stable, and will not be able to attack it, so black attached in the game, and this is a very efficient move. What are we getting here? Black wants to fortify their own area, while strengthening white, where white was already strong. If white plays Hane from above, black extends. There is a threat of an unpleasant Hane, white must defend. And what happens? White is overconcentrated, while black's become stronger, and it has become much more difficult to invade this area than if black had just played a 3-point extension. What happened in the game? In the game, white decided to play more actively in response to this, but this led to a rather sad result for white. White played Hane, Black played Hane in response. If white defends, and black is happy. Therefore, white decided to play as actively as possible, Atari, and then capture the stone. But here, white gets too many problems with this group. The group gets weaker, and when the game continued, black was able to break white in two, and was able to capture the white stones above. This result can be considered a great success for black. The territory has been destroyed, and the group that used to be part of white's territory is going through very rough times here. It's already almost dead. So in this shape, such an attachment is very common. We'll play it in order to strengthen the opponent, where he's already very strong and solid. Here's an example from a game of two Japanese professionals, Ichiriki Ryo and Koiso. Here we see that black died at the top and got a powerful wall in return, and black, quite naturally, wants to use this wall to build a moyo. Black played an extension. White has a weakness here, so it's very dangerous to actively invade for white now. So white has an idea, to make his own group stronger and reduce the black moyo while making black overconcentrated. Therefore, what was played in the game is a completely natural move. But when we play such attachments, we need to think carefully about a possible opponent's counterattack. If black is strong all around, then one can easily get under attack, and that's what happened in this game. On an empty board, black often extends in response. Then white has reached their goal. The white group has become stronger, the black moyo is gone. White is happy. If black plays Hane, white can extend either this way or this way. Again, white is happy because white gets stronger, and the black moyo is reduced. But whenever we play this kind of attachment, we have to consider one possibility for black that he can use. If everything is strong around, black can play a Hane. White has to cut. Next, if black simply extends, the latter should be good for white. And most often, it's in white's favor in such positions. But black can change the order of moves here and eliminate all possible ladders. Black plays Atari first. And that's what was played in the game. White extends, black extends, white plays here, and then what should white do? The white group is disconnected. And for example, in this situation, or black can defend first, what do we see? That white has two weak groups here now. There is still a weakness on the right, and the group in the center is cut off. In the game, white got into a lot of trouble because white had to fight next to a strong group of black, next to black's thickness. Therefore, in similar positions, if you feel that the opponent is playing passively, if you feel that the opponent will either extend or play Hane, then this attachment can be played. But if you're playing with someone, if you play with Korean players on Korean servers, I would strongly recommend that you first of all consider this extremely aggressive possibility for black. An opponent who loves to fight will certainly try to attack, cut and attack white here. Therefore, if you feel that it is dangerous, then you can choose something more peaceful. For example, play some shape that definitely won't get cut. You can play a Kosumi, you can play a Keima, although there might be a cut here as well. Kosumi is the safest shape here. But when you play an attachment from above, you can't always hope for a passive response from black. One can always run into some kind of counterattack. In conclusion, I will show you an example from the game of Kato Masao. He was nicknamed the Killer. This master knew how and loved to attack his opponent's groups. First is Akira. Akira played white here, and white has an unstable group on the right. White decided to defend it. By the way, how would you complete the shape as white? If white wants to defend, which point would you choose? The correct answer for white is Kosumi. This is the most precise, most careful move. Why is it needed at all? If white hadn't played here, black could have played this beautiful attachment. What is the idea behind it? If white plays from this side, white's shape is cut in two. If white plays from this side, black extends, and white is left without a base, and also with a cutting point. Therefore, in the game, Akira, who played white, defended the shape, and this is correct. But white didn't choose the Kosumi for defense, but decided to play a little more actively. White played a Keima. The shape is strong, it's difficult to attack it. Let's think if we can create some overconcentration for white if the shape was like this. There will be less points, but the shape is very powerful, and it's not clear if we can do anything with it. And what happened in the game after the Keima? Black played an attachment. White has to defend. This is Sente. White is forced to defend. And in the end, White is pressed to the second line. That is, if we see that it's difficult to attack the shape that White group can be killed, why not make White overconcentrated? Why not push White down to the second line?
By the way, you can also watch these lessons on our platform, gomagic.org. Except there, you'll watch them with interactive quizzes right within the lessons and practical exercises right after them. And if you enjoy watching these Go videos and you don't want to miss others like this one, go smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is Go Magic.